Okay, today we're going to open a Google Sheet and we're going to do lesson 3 of Edutyping, which is editing basics. And so I've clicked on Google Sheets and I've added a blank document right here. The first thing we want to do is we want to title our document at the top, and we want to make it lesson 3. So I'm calling it SS for Spreadsheet, lesson 3. And I always like to put it into the proper folder before we get started. Okay, we're going to use the default font and size of the spreadsheet, and we're going to type in the data, which I will do in a second. And then after typing in the data, we will need to resize all of the columns so that the information will fit. As I'm typing things, I realize I probably should show you guys how to make some edits if you're typing and you realize that you made a mistake. So I made a mistake by forgetting the N in Benji. So if you go up here to the function line, this is where you actually put in the information as you're typing. And I click where I need to put the N, I can make the edit there. And then when I hit tab, it will take me to the next tab over. Even though I'm typing what looks to be information in this cell, notice that it is showing up here. So I've typed all of the data in figure 3. After I type data, I also like to go to the tools bar, go to spelling and spell check, which I previously did, and removed any spelling errors that I had. One of the first things that we have to do is resize the columns so that it will fit all of the data in the display. So if we notice here on column A, we need to take it out until at least the word winners shows up. So let's see what that looks like, and I see all the names are able to fit into the column. Now in Excel, we would have been able to double click right there, just like I double clicked between the B and C. And that happened. So let me go back and see if it will work on A in Google Sheets. And when we double clicked there, it did. So I hover over here. Notice how the my mouse icon changes to an arrow with arrowheads on both ends. So that is saying that we're going to stretch the column to fit, or minimize to fit also works. So if I double click right there on that line, it will stretch to fit this line of text, which is the longest in the column. If I do the same thing between B and C, it's going to shrink the width so that it doesn't have all this extra white space. And then if I do that with column C, it should make it so that just the word now has room. We may change that again later. And then I'll do the same thing at column D. And notice how it goes wide enough for the entire details of what was happening in each of these people's lives. The next function we're going to perform is copying and pasting. We're going to take the data from cell A3 and we are going to copy it into cells C13, C16, and C19. So I'm first going to select cell A3, and then I'm going to hit Control-C, which is copy. I also could have right-clicked and gone to copy at the top. So Control-C, you should start to see what we call the dancing ants kind of border around the cell. That means that you have highlighted it to copy. Now I'm going to go to cell A13 and I'm going to paste. And remember, that's Control-V. Also go to C16 and paste. You could have also gone to right click and hit paste there. And we're going to go to cell C19 and paste there as well. We're going to copy cell A4 to cell C14 and C18. So C14 and C18. We're going to copy cell A5, which is studying, to cells C12 and C15. And we're going to copy teaching, which is A6, to cell C10 and C17. Finally, we are going to copy cell A7, which is winning, to cell C11. We need to readjust column C in order to fit all of those words. So remember, go to the line between C and D, hover your mouse, and then double click, left click. We need to rearrange some of our rows. So we are going to go and insert a row between row 13 and 14. So I'm going to go to row 14, right click, insert one above. I'm going to cut and paste the data for Janine Mason into the row after Joshua Allen. That way the season numbers should be in order. So to cut, we can either right click and go to cut, or you can Control X to cut and go to row 14 and you can paste there, or you can hit Control V to paste. The last step in this process includes removing rows 3 through 8. So I'm going to click on row 3. I'm going to hold the Shift key and click on row 8. It will highlight all of the rows. So again, I went to row 3 and clicked. So row 3, hold the Shift key and click on row 8. It highlights them all. And then I want to delete them. So I'm going to right click and hit delete rows 3 through 8. The final step is just to double check, make sure everything is spelled correctly, that your columns are the proper width to contain all of the information, and then your document is done and you can submit it to me.